Joining us live, David Nixon, BYU TV analyst. You can catch him on After Further Review this Tuesday, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain Time. And believe me, there is plenty to talk about. David, let's ask you the Twitter question. What are your expectations now for BYU football moving forward, given everything that went wrong last night against Utah State?
You know, you guys just mentioned 9-3. I think that's plausible. I think this BYU team can really rally around each other. I mean, obviously you miss the best athlete on the team in Taysom, but there's still plenty of guys in supporting cast that can step up and, like I said, rally around each other and come out and hopefully grab some wins. So I think the toughest part of the schedule is now done. I mean, obviously at UCF is going to be a tough task. Then at Cal later this season. But other than that, I think the schedule is favorable now for them to put a string of wins together.
Yeah, at Boise State, I would throw in there as well. It's going to be a tough game. When you look at what happened last night, you were on the 08 team, quest to perfection, an even bigger build-up, I think, in terms of, hey, go undefeated. After the TCU loss, when that undefeated burden was gone, what was that like, and how did you guys rebound?
You know, it's funny. I was thinking about that this morning. In a way, I guess if there's any takeaway from this game that's positive, it's that. Look, the pressure's gone. I mean, I was talking to Taysom a few weeks ago, and he mentioned that the pressure was evident, and I mean, you can feel that pressure, and I think if anything's positive comes out, the guys can now play a little more loose, and they can go out there and when you're playing loose, you play more confidently. And you're just more aggressive, period, because you're not worried about making a mistake and being that guy that makes a mistake that loses a season or whatever it may be. So obviously it's tough, and it's tough to get over. It took me a few days when we lost to TCU to get over it because you had something special going. But we've mentioned time and time before that it is so hard to go undefeated in college football. I mean, Oregon experienced that this week too. So
yeah.
It's just tough and so I think these guys, once again, I think that they can regroup and they can really, just put the best forth effort forward, and I think they will. I think knowing the leaders on this team, knowing the senior leadership, that they'll get the guys ready, and you rally around Christian Stewart, and we saw glimpses of greatness from him last night. The way he was able to air out the ball and kind of direct that offense, he had the 2 interceptions, but even then, one of those was when he was getting hit, and the other one was just a slide overthrow. So, all in all, I think there's some things to learn from him, and I think they'll be respectable. It's going to take some time for it to continue to gel, but I know the players respect Christian because he's a hard worker, what he's done on and off the field, and so he's got the respect of his teammates. Now it's just going out there and executing.
David Nixon, BYU TV sports analyst, former BYU and NFL linebacker on BYU Sports Nation. David, you and I were talking on the Countdown to Kickoff set last night about Taysom Hill's injury and the prognosis. I know you had some doctor friends that were texting you updates about, what to expect and what happens next. What is the latest on Taysom, and is there any sort of positive spin on this injury and his career moving forward?
It's been pretty quiet. The last update I had is he's supposed to be out of surgery here in the next 15 minutes or so. I think once he's officially out of surgery, I think all of us will know more of what it looked like once they got in there. I mean, obviously, injuries can change once the doctors get in there and start operating. So I'll be, interested to see how it went, if it was smooth, if the screws and everything were inserted properly. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can go right and a lot of stuff that can go wrong on this type of surgery. So. Crossing our fingers that it was a great surgery and that everything went well. But I'll hopefully know more later this afternoon or so.
There was a sequence of events akin to Houston that I talked about that kept Houston in the game, where there were some unforced errors on BYU side that changed the game. Let's go through those for a moment. Second quarter, BYU's up 14-7. 4th and 4 field goal try for Utah State, and for some reason, Jordan Johnson goes offside. First down. Utah State gets a touchdown to tie the game. Then Jamal Williams and Taysom Hill have an awkward exchange. Jamal Williams has a fumble, his first fumble ever. It should have been Taysom's fumble, but it's Jamal's fumble. Whatever. There's a fumble. Utah State scores a touchdown the next play, 21-14. Taysom eventually breaks his leg. That sequence changed the game, and it was unforced errors, David.
Yeah, no question it changed the game. I mean, especially on your home field, to have those type of errors. And I think the biggest one, to be honest, I mean, the fumble, that's just that with this right option offense that the BYU runs, those type of fumbles are going to happen because, once again, it's all about basing your read off that defensive end. So sometimes Jamal's going to think that Taysom sees a certain read, and maybe he's going to try to hug that ball a little tighter or not, and you're going to get fumbles here and there. Fortunately enough, BYU hasn't really had too many fumbles this year.
Yeah.
But obviously that one came in an untimely manner. But the one that just really surprised me is that offside on that field goal. With it being 4th and 4 and where they were on the field, I mean, it wasn't like this was going to be a 55-yarder, which you might get in there and be able to block. I mean, so there's a kind of a chip shot for him, and to jump off sides. I mean, there's nothing more simpler than on field goal block to sit there and watch the ball. I mean, that's one time when you just don't jump off sides, especially when it's 4th and 4, knowing that if you do, it's going to be a first down for him. So, that one really baffles me. I'm not quite sure what Jordan was reading or what caused him to do that, but that one stung because that kind of did give them confidence. They put another touchdown, tied it up, and I think that's when they realized, Utah State realized, look, we can hang with these guys. I mean, we're 14-14, now deeper into the game, and they're not as tough as we thought they'd be, and we can hang with them. And that gave them that extra added confidence they needed to them for the rest of the game. You saw them just air it out. Garrison just continued to air it out. And his confidence, I mean, he was riding high. He couldn't miss. And he knew that. His teammates knew that. And when everyone's on the same page like that as a team, man, it's tough to kind of squander that and get them back down to earth.
David Nixon on BYU Sports Nation. We've been asking the question all morning now. So what now? So what now? How do you rally the troops and get ready for Central Florida 6 days later? This is a double-edged sword because you lost. You want to get that taste out of your mouth. Let's go play a game. Let's fix this thing. But now you're dealing with a handful of guys that are injured. Your quarterback is out. What happens now to rally the troops and for BYU to somehow go on the road as a likely underdog at Central Florida and put together a good performance?
Yeah, what now is just that. I mean, if you're a true competitor, if you're a true college athlete, you prepared all year for this season. I mean, some of these guys, this is their senior season. They will never play. I mean, some of them won't go on to play in the NFL. So this is the last time they'll ever play competitive football. And so you quickly realize, look, yeah, that was one loss. What are we going to do? We're going to lose the rest of our game? We can give up now? And if you're a true competitor, you honestly rally around your guys. And like I said, in 2008, that's what we did. We came together after that beating, and we said, look, we can still go on and have a fantastic season. We did. We finished 10-3 and a respectable season. So that's what the guys. I think that the quick turnaround obviously helps. It helps to get back on the field and get that taste out of your mouth. There's no doubt that watching film today, which most of them will probably be doing, is going to sting. And there's going to be a lot of stuff to learn from, especially from the secondary. But come Monday when they get out there on the field, there's not a better feeling than getting out there and practicing and really putting this game behind you. And that's exactly what they have to do because really you get 2 days of practice. You get Monday and Tuesday, and then you fly out Wednesday. So it's a very, very short week. But nothing better than trying to get back out there on that field to kind of prove that this was a fluke. And, and there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things these guys have to prove. Obviously, Christian Stewart, the quarterback, has to go out there and improve himself. That secondary, they need to figure something out and go out there and prove that, they're not going to let guys throw all over them. I mean, at some point, your pride kicks in, and you have to, you have to take ownership and responsibility for what's happened and try to step up and show everyone, look, that was a one-game fluke. It's not going to happen again, and hopefully that's their mentality.
David Nixon joining BYU Sports Nation for group therapy on Saturday morning. David, we appreciate the insight, and we'll talk to you in the near future.
Yeah, guys, this was good for me too. So I'm glad we could get this one out.
I'm ready to go again.
Hug it out.
Thanks, David.
All right, guys.